Hi, my name's Heather Howell, and I am Meredith's aunt. I am 45 years old, and I'm going to try to summarize my questions so I don't bore you all to death. I am talking to you all about risks. So, what risk did I take? So, I left a big, huge Fortune 100 company, and I went to go join a local startup company as a CEO. And anytime that you leave anything, whether it's a new school or you join a new sport or a club. And as you get older, anytime you leave a job that you know to go take something else or take a new job or a new career, it's a big risk. So I was leaving my career at Humana, which is a big, large insurance company, to go to a local, really small startup. And the startup was called Ruby Red Tea, and it was a ready-to-drink bottled tea company based out of Louisville, Kentucky. And what was going on in your life or in the world that may have caused you to take the risk? Well, my husband, who is Meredith's uncle, Uncle Stephen, he is an eye surgeon for kids. And so his practice was purchased, and it gave me some financial security to go out and seek a new opportunity. So I felt that being a part of a healthy organic tea was something that I could really get behind. And that's also when other tea companies like Honest Tea and Sweet Leaf Tea and the bottled beverage industry was really growing. And so I thought, what a better time than in 2010 to kind of hit that organic movement and switch jobs. So how did I feel about that risk? Probably the same way anybody else does when they're starting a new school or whatever, but I was anxious, I was fearful, but I knew that this big risk had a lot of rewards. And so I went ahead and I took the leap. Did you understand that it was a risk? Yes, that's a big risk, and I understood it. But I never knew how challenging it was actually going to be. And that's one of the things that I really learned in the process. Why was it considered a risk? Well, I was leaving a large company that had billions in revenues and a lot of opportunity to move up in the company. To leave that and join a startup, there's a ton of risks. The financial security isn't as great. One of the things that I had to do as the CEO is go out and raise money from investors. And the larger you get, the more money that you need until you start making money yourself. And you have to constantly grow the business, because if you don't grow the business, well, then who in the world's going to invest in you? So can you explain the process, including your risk, to me? Yeah, I can. I took the role as CEO of Ruby Red Tea in 2010. I left a big, large corporate environment that paid bonuses and had full insurance. And my husband and I also owned the building in which the tea company was operated out of. So, all of these were risks, but all of a sudden, I had to raise money from investors. I had never done that before. So I basically had to ask people for money, and they had to believe in the management team and the product in order to give it to us. And then I became a landlord overnight. That's pretty terrifying. And I also didn't know anything about tea, with the exception that I'm in the South and a lot of people drink tea and they love tea. So I figured I was in a pretty good spot. What setback? Lots of setbacks. Every time we got a huge account like Costco or Whole Foods, we had to get the money to support it. So whenever we would win big with a huge account, well, that would mean we'd need money to support it, like samplings, tastings, advertising. We call them shelf talkers, neck tags that hang off of bottles. All of that we have to pay for. So it becomes very expensive. What did you learn? Well, I learned I'm really resourceful. Coming out of a big company and going to a small one, I was able to raise, are you sitting down? I was able to raise about $5 million to grow and run the business. I learned that I was really good at marketing and public relations. I learned that I was a good leader, and so I loved leading teams and making other people successful. That provided a lot of fulfillment. So one day when you're a manager, I think one of the greatest gifts you can do is see other people be successful and be a part of that. And I also learned that if you're passionate about a brand, people are the ones that are the most important to building that brand. So if you have a good product and you have passionate employees, your product will ultimately be successful. Let's see here. What setbacks? Well, the business was based out of Louisville, Kentucky, and most of our business was actually on the West Coast, where the organic foods movement was really growing. The other thing was that we competed with companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. They own big tea companies like Honest Tea and Sweet Leaf Tea, and that was a little bit of a challenge, because anytime we wanted to go in and take the shelf or have big displays, well, they had a lot of money, so they could come in and build an even larger display. And so that was always challenging. The good news about being small, though, is that we could move really fast and make decisions very quickly. The good news was, as much as I like to speak about the setbacks, the things that helped us was that a lot of people, particularly this younger generation, was really into not buying mainstream products. So they loved finding these little niche tea companies, and that really helped us a lot. And then you started to see organic food stores like Whole Foods pop up. Trader Joe's was popping up. Kroger and Costco had their own organic line of products. So those types of things really, really helped. Did I lean on the faith? I think your faith is so much more than just going to church every Sunday. It's about being a good person. It's about doing the right thing. And even when maybe you're not the most popular. So those are the things that I feel like make a great leader, is being a consistent role model and, making sure that you always do the right thing. Would you take the risk again? Absolutely. I had a great time building a small company, and it got me to a much larger company, which is Brown-Forman. So the reward for me was plentiful, and I would definitely do it again. So now, as a result of taking those risks and being the CEO of this small organic tea company that we grew about 1,400%, the big reward was I'm now at Brown-Forman. We're in 177 countries. I just got back from Ireland. I've been able to travel the world with the company, and I've been able to grow myself and grow teams and start departments at another Fortune company. The most rewarding part of my journey is everybody knows Google, right? So I was invited to Google, and we ended up winning their food competition, and our watermelon mint product got on their campus. So that was really, really cool. Was my family positive or negatively impacted? I'm sure with any of you that might have parents that travel, it's always hard. I think moms and dads always have a lot of guilt being away from their children. And so that's always hard, but I'm better working, and I'm a better parent when I'm working. And I think my kids are better off as a result of seeing me work and take risks, and hopefully when they get to that point, they'll take the right risks that will pay off as a result of watching their family. Yeah, my family influenced me. I mean, Meredith can tell you, and her sisters and brothers and her grandparents can tell her that we landed in the Midwest Costco, so they did all of my samplings and tastings, and I have photographs and pictures. So those were the types of risks, and I would do it all over again, and big risks come with big rewards, but just be calculated in those. So this is your Aunt Heather. This is Heather Howe, who currently now works at a huge company, signing off, and I hope you guys enjoyed my risk reward. Take care. Love you, Meredith. Bye.